Hey, hey, back at it again, once again, after a while. Um, so I've been going through a lot. Oh my gosh. A large part of it was negative. I went down into the depths and my energy was just not feeling good all the time. And I really had to dive into those emotions and those sensations and those processes and thought patterns to figure out what was going on and what I was doing wrong to help those parts of my being heal. And a lot of it had to do with finding out what the difference between the third, fourth, and fifth dimension was, and that's what this is about. So the third dimension is like you don't trust, or there's many aspects to it, but for me, it was like I didn't trust anything, and I doubted myself um, to an extreme extent or to an extreme level, because I've gone through, and a lot of it had to do with confusion. I've been I've talked to so many higher dimensional beings and have been shown so many different things that a lot of it, I was offered different life paths and different energies that I could pursue in life and channel and be the director of, and a lot of it became very confusing. So I started losing trust in all of these people because it felt like my story kept switching, and that was another part of it too. Is if you get wrapped up in your story and you're always constantly thinking about different um, different aspects of it or how it is constantly changing, and you're caught up in this chaotic mystery, and you feel clueless all the time, that can lead to the fourth and third dimension. But the third dimension, more so, is thinking that you're a victim. And that's such a huge part about it. And one day I was just like, okay, I'm gonna just love myself to as much as I can, no matter what comes through my brain, no matter what intrusive thought comes in, no matter what I'm thinking of, no matter who I'm thinking of. And that's another part about what can get you out of the third dimension is unconditionally loving and being, and unconditionally loving. It's like, even if you're in, and this is part of my journey, like finding these enemies, that were so prevalent in the third and fourth dimension, and finding out once you unconditionally love them, you switch into the fifth dimension, and those worst enemies that you can possibly think of, or that you created in your own head, which was happening to me, become these beautiful beings of love and exude this pure essence, this pure energy that is unfathomable. And that was happening to me with a couple people in my life that are very, very powerful beings. And I had convinced myself, after losing trust with these beings, I had written them into this stupid program in my head that they were negative and they were out to get me, and thinking that beings are out to get you will lead you into the third dimension. And I'd say the fourth dimension is like that plus you're loving, like you still love and you still want to love. Oh, that was another part of it, was thinking that you have absolute control. Drenvala Melchizedek talks about the 12 levels, and probably the 12 levels of DNA that you can activate here in this reality. But there's a 13th, and once you get to the 13th, it becomes this reality that you are in control of, and you become Satan basically, because you can manipulate you can manipulate reality to where it seems like you're the one in control. But once you get past that, you can get into the 14th, which is like the next octave, the next rung of energy. And that's where the Essene Brotherhood is at. And I've connected with them. And the Essene Brotherhood is basically the energy of Sirius, the star system. And that's where the Essene Brotherhood, where their energy is from. and it's the next rung of consciousness. And in my video where I talked about going 7,000 light years, there's like these layers of consciousness, these layers of energy that I got to fly through, and that's what it was like. And I think that's what happens. We being on Earth are right on the edge of that next rung of consciousness, that next bliss level. And once you ascend with your DNA and go through the sun, which I'll probably explain in another video, or not. Maybe I should. I don't know. Toth said you only give your secrets to your disciples and people who are ready to ascend. Um, but yeah, connecting with their energy, it basically, like, one of the biggest things was doubt, and doubt was destroying me, because, and it wasn't even like I doubted myself, but I doubted myself, like I knew um, who I was, but I was getting so confused, and it just brought a lot of doubt in. And when I connected with the Essene frequency, it was like I could think about doubt and not have my energy feel bad, and that's what that next rung is. And Drunval Melchizedek explains that, and how it's like it becomes a universe of no darkness whatsoever. And it was so helpful. But yeah, the fifth dimension is like that universe where you're unconditionally loving everyone, and a huge part about it is service to others, and recognizing that you are just a part of the collective. You are but a drop in the ocean, and that is such a huge part. But it's a combination of all these things that makes you fall back into the fourth, like constantly. And if you're switching between the third and the fifth, you're stuck in the fourth, and it's hellish. It's not a good place to be, and it makes you cry a lot. I cried a lot. But now, like, I remembered what unconditional love is, and that was the final thing that I really put together. I saw a chiropractor today too. That really helped. Um, Another huge part about what was keeping me in the fourth and in the third, was I was refusing to separate from my twin flame, and I was being needy when he was trying to teach me how separation is a good thing, and it's a really good thing. When you need separation, you need to separate. And I don't doubt that he will be back in my arms one day, in one form or another. But the way that it was working out was, he was just treating me poorly, but he was trying to teach me without going out and saying it. He was trying to teach me that I needed to work on myself instead of obsess about him, and being needy and clingy to him, and because that just brings that energy in, and that's a lower frequency, and you get that reflected back by your twin flame if you're doing that. So yeah, that was keeping me there too. Brief synopsis: just unconditionally love everyone, even your worst enemy. Don't feel afraid to cut cords from people, but don't just unconditionally love people, and that's ascension, and recognizing that you're a part of the collective and a drop in the ocean, and that'll be your key to success, guys. Give me a thumbs up. Peace.